Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Hi, today we'll be building a little astronomy picture website using the Astro UXDS library, which is supposed to be like a UI framework for all things space related. So that's pretty cool. Should I hire this bro? What the fuck is I hire for a job? Is that better? Is that worse? Fun fact, the Astro UXDS library was commissioned by the United States Space Force. So it's cool. All right, let's get started. So here's a quick demo of what we're building. We're gonna use Astro components as much as possible. And as you can see, it's a pretty simple website or page, but what we're gonna be doing is going over how to make GET requests, because the picture of the day information lives on NASA servers. So it's a little more than a static page, but really there's not too much going on. So let's get ready to jump in. Should be easy stuff. Okay, so the first thing we'll want to do is get an API key. So you can go to api.nasa.gov and just give him your name, email. You'll get an API key, and then we can plug that in later to our GET request and get our picture. So I'll link that, or not. Cool, while we wait for the API key to be delivered, let's get started on building out the website. All right, let's get started. I'm assuming a base level of proficiency. So if there's anything you have questions about, leave a comment, please. But so I'm on Mac, got my terminal. I'm already in the folder I made for this project. So I'm just gonna just create an index.html file. That's where our code will live. And let's open that up in Google Chrome. So as expected, I just made the file. There's nothing in the file. So let's open Visual Studio Code, put something in there, start seeing our changes. All right, I got VS Code up. So I can say, hi, thanks for watching my video. Save it, boom, cool. Thanks for watching my video. All right, let's add the boilerplate for the Astro components. So one neat little thing we can do in Visual Studio is type HTML, click enter. Okay, so I don't have a link to the docs on the boilerplate. So what I'm gonna do is copy it from another project I made with this library. I'll just paste all that stuff right here. And we probably need to close this. And we can close that. Okay. So I'm gonna just clean this up a little, because I don't know what I'm looking at. Truly looks like that's everything we really need. So I'll say, hi, does this work? Let's save it, see what happens. Okay, cool. We know the library has been loaded because the background is navy blue. And that means we have access to all the Astro components. This is great. Okay, now that we have UXDS set up, let's use our API key to load the astronomy picture of the day. So we're gonna use a little bit of JavaScript. So we'll go back here and what we want to do is first put an image and just set the source empty. Close that. Actually, images don't really have closing tags, I think. Okay, but there's our image. And just to make sure it's gonna work, I'll just put a picture of a cat on the page. Nice. So that cat is where our space picture will go. So we can take the cat out and we'll give it an ID. We can say, you know, astronomy photo. Astronomy dash photo. APOD. Astronomy picture today. Okay, we'll go back here. I'm gonna hit Command N. I'm gonna hit Command S. I'll call this fetch apod.js. And just to make sure it's connected to our web page, I'll put an alert. Hi, picture comes here. And I'll refresh the page, right? Nothing's happening because we haven't connected the JavaScript. So script tag fetch. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, there it is. Picture comes here. Cool. So our JavaScript file is now connected to our HTML. We just now need to get the image. So I already have my API key. Make sure you get yours. So I'll just say let API key equal that. And I'm just gonna use the code I wrote before. So I'm gonna just copy all that. We're using a XML HTTP request. It's kind of like a poke. We're poking NASA's website. Like, hey, here's my key. Like, you trust me. I have like the password. Can you please give me the photo? And you're like, well, how does it know we're asking for the photo? We have this link here. Honestly, you could just throw this into like ChatGPT and it'll explain it for you. But basically we're saying we'll make the request. If it comes back and it's successful, we'll get some data. So you're like, well, what's this data stuff, man? So I mean, yeah, I'll show you. Key is not defined. Data. Okay, so here we see our data. You know, there's copyright. There's a date. That's today's date because you know it's a picture of the day. An explanation of the image and the HD URL of the image. So that's the most useful thing for us. Or we could just use the regular URL. It looks like, and completely skip over the HD URL. So now we're saying, hey, if there's actually data and it has the URL field, the length is greater than 0. It's just a kind of easy way to check. Like, do we actually have a URL here, and is it not empty? So we can find where we put that image. All right, we gave it ID astronomy photo. We'll come back here. We'll say document get element by ID astronomy photo and set the source of that, the source attribute, to our image link. So if we go back here and hit refresh, there's our image. That means we were able to load our image using a GET request. Pretty sweet. We could also, well, I don't know, put the HD URL for the HD image, but see, it's a lot nicer, but it's a lot bigger. So I mean, depending on who your end user is, if they'll have kind of the compute resources and network availability, you could just plug the HD URL. But for our case, URL is fine. It's just building a little demo. It really doesn't matter. Cool, so now that we have the image, we'll want to add some UXDS styling, kind of pretty it up, make it look a little more presentable. Otherwise, right now, this is just no different than any other web page. Okay, so now we're looking at the Astro UXDS documentation. Specifically, I'm looking at the container. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our image and we're gonna put it in a container. So on the web page, we see an interactive example. So here's what a container looks like by itself. So we see a faint outline and kind of boxes off whatever's in the container to illustrate like, hey, this is its own little component. But we have other options. We can add a header, you can add a footer, tab bar, so on and so forth. So for us, I think the header is the best option. And you could even see the code down here. So the tag is RUX-container. And with the header, we just add a child element called div with slot equals header. So let's add that to our code. So back here, go to where we put our image and we'll say RUX container. And now our image is in a container. So if we go back to our page, yeah, there really wasn't a visual difference, and that's okay, because what we're about to do now is say div slot equals header, and we'll give it the title astronomy picture of the day. Woohoo! So now we should see a header. Okay, so yeah, there's our header. Pretty sick. One other funny thing we can do is wrap all of that in a center tag, which might not be supported in every browser, but that's not my problem. Okay, that didn't work. So we won't use the center tag. Yeah, there's your picture of the day demo. I guess the last thing we can do is add a little header. So we got RUX global status bar. So I'm gonna just look that up. It's kind of neat. It has like a clock. Yeah, that little Astro dashboard. You got your version, you got an author, you got a little tag, you got a little box. You got, see, you can add a clock. Emergency shut off. You know, it's pretty cool. So we'll copy paste that into our thing. I mean, we'll see how it's added. So it's like there's div style. Let's just add the RUX stuff and see what happens. So we go back here. RUX global. I forgot global status bar. Okay, without any child attributes, all it does is, so it blocked off that space, that partition. I wonder what the icon is. Let's see what the icon is, everybody. Nice. Maybe, I'm sure there's a way to change the icon. I don't know. What else we got here? App domain. Yeah, we could add a app domain. We can call our app apod. Pretty sweet. That makes this completely redundant, but that's okay because we can call it Astro UXDS demo instead. See, it's pretty crazy. All right, what else we got? App name. We could add an app name. We'll say the name is, we'll give it a cool name. We'll call it Artemis, like NASA. Yep, we got Project Artemis. And then, yeah, like app version, menu, username, whatever. You could, there's a lot of flags you can mess around with. All the documentation is available at is available at astrouxds.com. So, go check it out, go have some fun, build it out. I'm pretty satisfied with what we've got going on so far. Let me add my name to this real quick. Say Mr. Vivacious. See where that shows up. Boom, look at that. We can even put app state. App state color. App state equals live. Let's see where that goes. Wow. Let's see if we can change the color. App state color equals, let's put tag 2. Purple, okay? Maybe there's a tag 3. One sec, I'm gonna just format this because it's getting annoying having to scroll. Maybe there's a tag 0. Let's put tag 0. Oh, it's black. It's kind of scary. Look at that. Let's put tag 3. Purple. Okay, let's put tag 4. Orange. Tag 5. Black. Okay, so there's 5 tags. It goes from 0 to 4. Yeah, pretty sweet. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this was a great introduction to the Astro UXDS library, which is funded by the Space Force, the United States Space Force. And looks like there are some sample apps already out there on the website you can find on the Astro UXDS site. So yeah, space